In the everyday din of our thoughts, essential truths and realities elude us. Yet, somewhere in the realm of our consciousness, these linger like guests waiting to be invited. Yes, life can be surreal and otherworldly, but to reach that stage of truth, one often goes through vicissitudes of the life, transforming incidences, or, as in the case of my protagonist, a horrific accident. Hi, I'm Sana Chawla and the author of the book The Magic Within. And in today's episode, I bring to you an amazing out of the body experience that Ashley, also known as Asha or Ma, went through. Ashley recounts. As I walk down the lanes of the Koregaon Park in Pune, I'm awestruck to see how rapidly the city has grown. Its energy has changed, but then again, so have I. I wish I could turn back the hands of time both on Pune, the birthplace of my spirituality, as well as on my life. And then again, it still seems like it happened yesterday, when I lay on my hospital bed completely battered, bruised and broken. I had smashed my head in a terrible motorcycle accident, and the experience was the biggest turning point of my life. My life has been a hell of a trip with ups and downs, as most people's lives are. Life's lessons are like a lesson in a yoga or yog, which is union. The deepest union we have is one with ourselves. The yog is the union of the Atman, or the self, with the Paramatman, or the Supreme Self, the marriage of the mind and the cosmic consciousness. Who am I? What is my purpose? Were the questions that resounded constantly in my mind. Come, let me lead you to one part of me. Born and raised in urban India and educated both in India and America, I faced several challenges in my pre-adolescent and teenage years. But there is one memory that made such an impression on my fragile mind. I was 8 years old and standing in front of a mirror. And I swear the mirror spoke back to me. The question it asked was, who am I and why am I here? I was petrified with that what happened and ran screaming into the arms of my kind and gentle mother. Mother soothed and reassured, saying, it's probably nothing. You watch too many horror movies, so your creative mind is just being overactive and imagining things. No one is going to believe me, I thought. So I just put it aside and I didn't think about it. My mind would not rest, and the questions and thoughts continued to plague me. I kept looking to my mother. She was a quiet mediator who spent several hours a day in a cross-legged position called the Padmasana, lost in oblivion with a saintly blissful smile on her face. My little mind was enamored and awe of my mother, but when I asked her many questions, her answers always remained the same. Don't ask me. I don't know why your mind thinks this. It's not normal. Why can't you be like your brothers? They never ask these questions or have such dialogues with me. It drives me crazy and scares me. Calm your mind. Go run in the garden and play with the other kids. You read too much. You'll go mad. While I had spent many a blissful day with my mother and siblings, a sequent and subsequent failed arranged marriage left me bruised with some more emotional baggage that I care to recall. I went through a divorce and moved to America for some time, and then returned to Bangalore. But I could no longer call it my home, because my dad did not welcome me and wanted me to get married off again. I was adamant not to tread down the same path again until my soul wanted it. So I left home and I went to Pune to live with my grandmother. My dad had cut me off financially as I had no money or savings. I earnestly started looking for a job to survive. The only help I received was from my mom, who would offer me some money from her modest savings. Eventually, through sheer luck and a lot of networking, I landed a job as a manager at the only 5-star hotel in Pune, the Holiday Inn. Life at the hotel was a great experience. I met so many new people, some of whom have become great friends, and learned so many new things and gained the right exposure. The hours were long and crazy, and through the work was quite taxing at times, the newfound freedom gave me great happiness. And then came the fateful day that would change my life. It was May 11, 1997. I got off work around 6 in the evening and headed to have a drink with a friend who I had met at the hotel. She was originally from the States and was now living in Koregaon Park. We enjoyed a glass of wine, and afterwards, as I had declined the hotel car that normally dropped me home, she offered to take me on the scooter and drop me to an auto rickshaw which would take me the rest of the way home. We started off and just reached the bridge, and then out of nowhere there was a collision. The last thing I remember was shooting pain and both of us falling. As we crashed, I heard the deafening sound of grinding metal. I felt intense pain at the back of my neck on the left side and a deep throbbing pain on the right side of my head. There was a blinding flash, and then it was lights out and darkness. I remember nothing after that. Life ended. Why me? Why? I woke up with this thought as an excruciating pain took over my body. Since time immemorial, there have been recounted several out-of-the-body experiences. Most of all will recall that of Anita Murjani and her miraculous recovery from cancer. Asha's experience also takes a similar route. She found herself in a tunnel, bathed in a shaft of light. She continues, I went inside. It just felt like a natural thing to do. After a while, a bright light loomed ahead. As I got closer, I was enveloped in a warm, fuzzy feeling and immense peace that washed over me. Two light beings appeared, and I moved closer. It was like I was floating on air and dipped in pure love. Then I heard something. There were no words being spoken, but somehow I could understand that was being communicated. It was something like, my beloved one, welcome back on this journey to earth. What did you do for yourself? I clearly remember saying that I had achieved some educational qualifications, I have been a good soul by helping the poor, and I've done a few good deeds. Again I heard the sound warmly repeating the question, what did you do for yourself? I stayed quiet and listened. The sound continued, and this is what I got from it. This journey you make on earth is for yourself and for your growth. There are no judgments at all, no rights, no wrongs, just the lessons you choose to learn. No rewards and no punishments. It's all a lesson in love. Feelings of love and tenderness were being emitted all around me, and the light seemed to speak. I heard, you are deeply loved, and knew I had the choice whether to stay or leave. Suddenly I felt a jolt. My head was throbbing and there was a tearing pain in my shoulder, and then the familiar, gentle, warm hand on my arm. My mother was frantically calling for the nurse. I was coming out of an unconscious state after 48 hours, but it had felt like no time had gone. Where is the light? Why can't I see clearly? What is this dullness? I asked my mom to turn on the lights as everything was so blurry, and then reality hit. Or should I say, the illusion was back. My boundaries are fused, and even today, I flit in it and out of reality and illusion. Yes, there is life after death, and those documented cases of people experiencing an OBE or the out-of-body experience have an element of truth to it. I have my story too, and the main thing the light urges you to do is to know yourself while you are on your earthly journey. After this, Asha's life took a 180-degree turn. For some of us, it may not be so dramatic as a otherworldly sojourn, yet each of us is pointed towards that part of light, of enlightenment, that emerges from our own deep, dark, often never-ending leads, that way out of our own sheer darkness. Asha concludes, I left home and went off to seek answers to existential questions, and finding masters and ashrams, both Eastern and Western, along the way. I spent a lot of time there. At times, my search took me to all corners of the globe, including the peaceful sanctuary of the Himalayas. My soul eventually found serenity in the awakening others to their purpose, and by lending a healing hand through various modalities which I acquired expertise in counseling, tarot reading, crystals, Ayurveda, yoga nidra, aromatherapy, and past life regression. Along the way, I met thousands of individuals, most of whom transformed my life for the better. One day, something changed in my being. I realized I had reached a crossroad. I decided to leave everything I knew behind and move towards art and creativity in order to cultivate my soul and prepare for another level and passage of consciousness. I took a break from my healing and embarked on a magnificent journey as an artist, author, and sculptor. 6 years now, I feel a certain exuberance about the future. Indeed, isn't this what it feels to be in that flow, to go where the soul guides you gently into that eternal consciousness? Asha reiterates that while life goes through that perfect stages or not so perfect ones, it is just a divine play. So, Chairavati, Chairavati, which means keep moving, said the Buddha. Onwards we move towards the light. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope this story was inspirational. And until the next one again,